It's the hottest ticket in town. Welcome to VI Sports, a show that takes you beyond the scoreboard, bringing you stories from across the Vancouver Island sports scene. I'm Kevin Schrack, hosting here at the Barn on Blanchard, Save on Foods Memorial Arena, as your Victoria Royals take on the Spokane Chiefs in Game 5 of the first round of the WHL Playoffs. We've got plenty of Royals content on today's show, but first, let's preview the stories on today's show.
The best invention ever.
We find out the Royals' secret to staying fit. We meet the Karate Kids of Powell River. A Cowichan hockey player loses his locks for a good cause.
I'm really, really proud. You have no idea.
I think I can do it.
And some Fastpitch 101 in Nanaimo.
That's my favorite sign right here, Wheelin' Walker. That is gold. All right, those stories are coming up, but right now we're going to travel back in time to earlier today, where I spoke with a few Royals insiders on their magical regular season and how they proved all the doubters wrong. With Royals GM Cam Hope, the man responsible for putting this team together. Now, Cam, I know it's playoff time, but let's talk about the regular season that got you here. So, at the beginning of the year in October, many in the WHL community doubted whether the Royals would even make the playoffs. Fast forward to March, you're #1 in the WHL, you're top 5 in the CHL rankings. I know everyone in the organization was confident from the start, but could you have ever imagined, with all the off-season changes, posting the best regular season in franchise history?
Well, you can always imagine it, but you know, in reality, we thought this was a bit of a rebuild year. We didn't use that word at the start of the year, but we had a lot of turnover. We had 13 new faces this year to start the year, so it was a little bit of an unknown. And the beauty of junior hockey is that you never know what's going to happen. When a team starts to come together, when the coaches figure out exactly what type of game you need to play to be successful with a particular kind of roster, good things happen.
Now, you've been around the game a very long time at the pro level, major junior level. I imagine every season is somewhat of a learning experience for you. What are some, it's too early to reflect, fully reflect right now, but what are some early takeaways from this season?
Yeah, you do. You learn something every year. I think the biggest takeaway this year is that it reconfirmed something that I felt all along, which is that every team really writes its own story. And people can put expectations on teams, you can have predictions, you can have a feeling about what's going to happen, but really where the rubber hits the road, which is what these players decide to do, you can't really predict it, particularly in junior hockey. So I think if there's one takeaway, it's sometimes put a lot of trust in your players and coaches, and if they believe in something, get out of the way and let them do it.
Is there anything really special about this team that really stands out to you?
Yeah, you hear people say this all the time about teams that are successful, but there is something about this team. It's a group of guys who really self-motivate. It's a group of players who've decided amongst themselves that they have goals to accomplish, and they've just gone out and done them. And to a large extent, that is really the secret to success this year. And I think you'll find that that's a common thread that runs through a lot of successful teams. You know, the guys that have to be the guys that execute have to be the ones that have that leadership role as well, and are the ones that set the goals.
It seems like there's a lot of players on this Royals team that have a little extra chip on their shoulder. You got Matt Phillips, who's been overlooked because of his size. You got players who went undrafted who are posting, their best seasons in the WHL. Is that something that you took into account when you were assembling this team?
Yeah, I don't think I really took it into account, but you're right. It's a subtext of this team. We have one NHL drafted player on this roster and one fellow who was overlooked, and Joe Hickett's that signed later as a free agent. Up and down the roster, there are a lot of guys with that sort of a story, and yeah, it's definitely one of the subplots for sure. In terms of whether that was part of the assembly process, I can't say that that's the case, but it's certainly worked out.
Now, you may not recognize his face, but I guarantee you recognize his voice. Play-by-play man Marlon Martins, been with the Royals since they moved here 5 years ago. Is this the most complete Royals team you've ever seen?
Well, it's definitely shaping up to look that way. I mean, this squad, a lot different than the one 2 years ago where they hit 100 points. That was a big physical team that could score. This is a much faster team and can really also provide a lot of offense. They've got a great blend of youth on this team, along with veterans, and strong defensively and between the pipes. So, they really check off a lot of those boxes.
Now, I know it's playoff time, but talk to me a little bit about the historic regular season for the Royals. Lots of storylines. What are some that stand out to you?
Well, you got to love the way that they kicked off this season. I mean, they won 5 of 6 games on a big homestand right off the start. That put a lot of belief in this room. And then they went on an Eastern Division road swing and won all 6 games. So they're flying high after that. And suddenly this team, I think, knew they had something special going on this year. And then after Christmas, when head coach Dave Lowry, Matt Auerbach, and Joe Hicketts came back from the World Juniors, this team really caught fire. They lost the first game back 1-0, and after that they went on a crazy tear.
Now, they had a lot of new faces, so they kind of had that almost surprise shock value to other teams, but now it's playoff time. Teams are familiar with this team. What do they need to do? How do they need to adapt to be successful in the playoffs?
Well, just keep being ready to go, because each team, you know, the cat's out of the bag. They know what the Royals bring now. They're prepared to play Victoria. So things changed down the stretch. Victoria just kept on winning anyways because they're playing their style of hockey, not too much worried about what the other team's doing. They play with speed. You know, they manage the neutral zone so well, and they're strong on the back end. And so, if, you know, they just keep doing what they're doing, they'll be successful.
Again, snapshot, save, made, rebound, he scores!
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here, okay? It is every failed athlete's dream. I am a failed athlete. That's why I am in sports broadcasting. It is every failed athlete's dream to have a professional play-by-play man do a goal call using their name. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to use my name, if you could, Kevin Chirac. You can even just go Chirac. But can you give me a goal call?
And now, a goal call, all right. Soy coming down the wing, he'll get it over the blue line, flip pass to the high slot for Chirac, he shoots, he scores! Kevin Chirac, and he has his first Western Hockey League goal.
Mom, I made it. I made it. Thank you. Now, I just have one more request for this interview. Now, VI Sports is an access show. It's a community access show. It was created by a volunteer in the community, Kelly Mann, and we have volunteer reporters. So for this episode, we're going to do something special. We're going to get some people in the stands later at tonight's game, and we're going to ask you if you want to throw to our first story.
Sure.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Royals head coach Dave Lowry has said the main reason for the team's success is their focus on fitness. So we did some digging to find out the Royals' secret to their super stamina.
It's the hockey practice version of Big Brother.
There's no hiding now.
They are always electric. Yeah, they're always electric.
It's monitored to death.
Beneath every player's gear, strapped to their chest, is one of these, a heart monitor, coordinated by strength and conditioning coach Jeff Compton.
And then this is the net. This represents how the net effect of the practice was. So his average heart rate throughout that is 78.
The device tracks everything from calories burned to heartbeats per minute.
That's the best invention ever.
Coach Lowry approves.
We had guys that I didn't like their effort, and they felt that they were working to capacity, and they would always get in the middle of the pack and they would hide. And what it does now is that nobody can hide.
Well, look how high your heart rate is right now. Breathe. We want our players to know, and we want our coaches to know how hard players are working.
For new guys, especially when I came in last year, I seen that and I'm like, oh, uh-oh, this could be bad.
The numbers don't lie. For some, it's mind over matter.
You feel like you're at about 95%, and you look up and you're at 75, and you're like, what's going on?
The data is saved and analyzed by Compton throughout the year. Statistically speaking, the gizmos are working.
In our first 4 years, we've progressively improved our fitness throughout the seasons and year to year.
The technology also acts as a red flag for a player's health.
We know what every player's maximum heart rate is typically, and once in a while a player works his butt off and can't get to that. That's a sign that there's something wrong, whether it's nutritional, hydration, or they're getting sick. So sometimes, hopefully more often than not, we can catch things before they get too far out of hand.
You're going to put me through a little workout, and we're going to see my heart rate compared to the players up there.
You got it.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to go change and put this guy on. Okay, so I'm dressed. I got the heart monitor on, Jeff, so you're going to put me through a little workout to get my heart rate up?
Let's see what you got. 77. I don't have any training in CPR, so we may want to shut her down here.
Okay.
You're at 80. You're in the orange zone. That's good. Kevin, you're done. Stop. Stop.
Okay.
Our roster is full.
Okay.
And you're too old. So, 26 calories. So,
Yes!
So just to summarize, I burned 26 calories.
in a row.
In a row.
Yeah.
I'm pretty tired. These guys burn just under 1,000 calories per practice, and they do this pretty much every day.
And the players have bought in, often comparing stats after practice, but not goals and assists.
Today was 907 calories. The team average was 1,050, I think.
It means everyone's working hard and they can really stay on top of things.
We're gonna try and hold each other accountable. Everyone can see how hard everyone's working, and I think that's important in building a team.
It's perhaps a little invasive, but this small device is helping the Royals players reach their peak.
Accountability is a big part of this program, and you know, if players are going to move on, accountability is it.
Burpees are a very underrated exercise. Now Drew here is going to help me out. Drew?
Stay tuned for more VI Sports after the break.
Yes! All right, nice. Good job, buddy.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
It's Royals playoff hockey, Game 5. At the end of the show, we'll bring you complete highlights and reactions of the game. But right now, let's get to our first story on the Karate Kids of Powell River.
Kids in Powell River training at the Canadian Martial Arts Academy are reaching new goals through a program that incorporates local, national, and international competition and training.
We do a lot of competing. Our studio is traditionally based, classical martial arts, where karate is the art first and then the sport second. So we have about 30 students in this studio here who practice competitive martial arts as well. The kids have an opportunity to not only travel, but experience different cultures when they participate in competition. For example, going to the United States, traveling over to Europe, or even Japan.
By having the ability to train and compete in other parts of the world, students are gaining a unique opportunity to test their skills.
I think that karate is evolving, and I think that the benefits of international competition as opposed to your own backyard competition gives them a better understanding of what they're practicing, and it gives them a more competitive edge. And as you know, we live in a competitive society, and I think that competition is very healthy for the students.
That competitive edge is clearly apparent with these students who consistently medal in all categories in various international competitions.
I'm going to throw left, right, Chloe leans back, roundhouse kick. Ready? Hey! Hey! Okay, here we go. Let's give it a try.
One thing that I admire about Sensei Clayton is that he has a relaxed personality, but he also is quite a stickler for perfection. So what he does is we'll do a sequence or a specific move over and over and over and over again until it's really, really good, and then we'll move on to another part. And then he'll do it over and over and over and over, and then we'll move on to the next part, and then the next part, and the next part, and then it's done. And then it looks really good after that.
Oh, I have expectations, and in order for the kids to participate in the traditional program, they need to understand that the expectation is at 80%. If you're a competitor, my expectation is 110% effort. Okay, so when we're practicing for competition, those kids work really, really hard, so my expectation level is extremely high. And for traditional karate, it's more personal based.
There may be high expectations, but with that comes an incredibly positive support system.
What I love about karate is just the family atmosphere, kind of. You have like your family, and then you have like your sports family, and they're all supporting and everything. And I like how it's like an individual sport, but you still have like that support system in place.
Switch.
And I think that giving your best is important. Helping kids learn that effort is important, that they're not entitled to anything. I think that, you know, when a student loses or when a competitor loses in competition, there's a lesson there in the loss, right? Because we all have failures in our life, and I think that sometimes it's important that they do fail in order for them to succeed.
It's a good experience, even if you don't get anything. It's just good to be there and experience other clubs and see what their style is and what they do different from you, and you meet a lot of other friends when you travel.
Regardless of whether they win, if they go out there and they do their best and they're happy, right? Even when they lose and they come back and they're still happy, they learned a very valuable lesson. So for me, I think that it's very gratifying to coach these kids.
For Shaw TV, I'm John McKenzie.
Thanks, John. All right, this is all access. We're on the media level. This is where SW, audio and visual, this is where they control everything. It's the control room, as you can see. Everything that's on the ice, they put on the Jumbotron. Very cool stuff. All right, let's head to our next story about a young hockey player in the Cowichan Valley who's going to great lengths to help others. Dan Kahn has the story.
Ask most people to describe Canadians. I'd bet dollars to donuts that hockey gets mentioned right off the top. Another Canadian characteristic that would probably get suggested is that we're nice, that we care about each other.
Well, I had a few family friends who had cancer. Luckily they didn't die to it, but I just think it'd be really great to help them out.
Meet Tommy DeLoup, an 11-year-old who plays for the Cowichan Valley Capitals. He plays left defense, just like his favorite NHL player, Chicago Blackhawk Duncan Keith.
He's just a really good player, like he's not selfish or anything on the ice.
Being unselfish on and off the ice is very important to Tommy. You see, for the past 2 years, Tommy's been growing his hair out for a special cause.
I want him to make a wig with it, so people with cancer can have hair.
Tommy's teammates and his family are here at Fuller Lake Arena in North Cowichan to support him losing his long locks.
Tommy's been growing his hair out for 2 years. He's courageous enough and caring enough to be raising money for cancer, the fight against cancer. And we're here this evening to share that with his teammates, so they're going to take part in the hair cutting.
The way he thinks about it is just amazing, because you don't expect, small children to think that way, so deep about it. Yeah, we are really, really proud and very impressed. Yeah.
What do you think about what Tommy's doing?
I think it's really cool what he's doing for the people that, have cancer and stuff.
Sadly, like so many other Canadians, Tommy's family has been affected by cancer.
Grandparents that have died from cancer. My father, thankfully, has had successful treatment for prostate cancer. On Tommy's mom's side, unfortunately, her father has passed away from cancer, and her mom has also battled cancer, and thank goodness she's a survivor.
He's going to be more involved with more causes. I can see that, because he's a kind of child, of the kid that does that kind of thing at school. He's always involved, he's always helping the teacher and always helping his peers to succeed and get there to where the whole class should be. So I can see he's going to follow that path.
As well as the hair donation, Tommy also raised over $1,000 for cancer research.
I'm really, really proud. You have no idea. Yeah.
So if Canadians are defined in part by a sport, I'm glad it's a team game, and I'm glad that we have teammates like Tommy.
And one person does make a difference.
From North Cowichan, I'm Dan Kahn.
Thanks, Dan. Great story. Tommy, you're a good man, and so is this guy to my right, Cooper.
More when we get back from the Save on Foods memorials.
All right.
You're watching VI Sports on Shaw TV.
Now, Nanaimo Ladies Fastball is looking to expand their league, hoping if you expand it, they will come. We're not talking Shoeless Joe, we're talking more female ball players. Our Nanaimo reporter, Jocelyn Matway, has the story.
Spring is in the air, and with the warmer weather, that means one thing here at McGirr Sports Field in Nanaimo:
it's ball season. And for one league in particular, there's a call out for new members and an open invitation for more teams.
Nanaimo Recreational Ladies Fastball League. It's just kind of ladies who want to come out and have fun, get some exercise, meet new people. It's a different feel actually for ladies compared to like a mixed league or anything. We do specific ladies fastball, and I find a lot of ladies really enjoy that.
One of the most important things about fastball is what happens here on the mound, and I'm with Cassie from the Nanaimo Angels, and she's going to tell me a little bit about a specific technique for pitching.
All right, so the different styles of pitching you'll see in our league, there is windmill, which is what I mostly do, and we also have some people do slingshot as well. The biggest difference between fastball and the other games like slow pitch and ortho is all about the pitching.
With softball, it's just a plain underhand pitch. With fastball, you have to do a full-out windmill. So it does come in a bit faster than a regular softball would come in.
I've had previous softball, I would say minimal softball experience in just like lobbing, but yeah, so I have no idea how I hold the ball.
Okay, well, I'll show you how I hold the ball. There's different ways, people do it different ways. I put my bottom finger right down here, so my bottom thumb, so you want to have it right on the seam. And then these two fingers are right across up here. You got to release the ball right at your hip. So at my release point, I'm now standing right where I'm going to pitch it to. I have my glove pointed to where I'm going to pitch it to, and I'm going to release the ball right at my hip. My back leg's going to kind of come through, and I'm going to be like this at the end of my pitch.
Ladies as young as 17 are welcome to play. However, Nanaimo Ladies Fastball is considered a beer league, so for those under 19, they need parental consent. Awesome. Okay, so let's see if I can do it. I think I can do it. You might have to stand next to me.
We can show you. Okay, so both your feet are on the mounds. This foot here is going to be a little bit up here more.
Right, that's when you're like digging.
Yeah,
right?
I have like my toe, so my heel's still not perfect. Yeah, I have all my weight in my front foot. I'm looking at Tabitha, my catcher back there, and I'm trying to throw a strike. I want to hit her right in the glove. So I'm presenting the ball. We're going to rock back, bring the ball to our glove. Now all the weight's in our back leg. And when we come forward, our arms are going to come down. We're going to step with our left leg right towards Tabitha, because that's where we want to pitch it. And as we're stepping, our arms coming up, and we're going to release at our hip.
And then step forward?
You got it.
Okay, so lean back.
As we rock them forward, you're going to step.
How's the arm feeling?
It's actually not bad, but I didn't warm up, so don't be...
Oh, good job. You remember the fingers?
Yeah.
Good one.
Remember. Okay. Squeeze. Okay. Lean back. Side. Oh. Oops.
Not only love playing the game, but I love coming here and being with the women that I'm with, and we always have a great time together. If you enjoy hanging out with people, if you enjoy getting some exercise, if you enjoy being in beautiful weather, sometimes not so great, it's a great time to come out. We like to have new people in the league all the time, so it's a lot of fun. I personally couldn't live without it.
To get involved with Nanaimo Ladies Fastball, you can check them out on Facebook or contact Chris through McGurr Sportsfield Society. For VI Sports, I'm Jocelyn Matui.
For all Fastpitch players in Nanaimo, be sure to be on the lookout for an upcoming Fastpitch tournament in late May at McGurr Field. Details are below. Well, it's a tough loss for the Royals. Can't win them all. We still love them. Remember to follow us on Twitter. And as promised, here's a recap of Game 5. We'll see ya.
He's working back through the neutral zone. Anderson Dolan is upended by Walford ahead. Now Westgard with speed to Peckford down the left wing, bottom of the circle. Backhander, stop made along the goal line by Peterson after a great move by Peckford. Now in behind the net is Werger, over for Yamamoto. Kyler scores short side on a one-timer. Slaps it ahead for Walker. He'll pick up speed coming down the right side, 2-on-2. Put it around Helgeson to the front of the net. Stop once, got his own rebound, scores! Jack Walker! Great individual effort. Never gave up on the play. rather, down the right wing. Pass across, they score! Keanu Yamamoto buries it shorthanded, taking the pass from his brother, and it is a 3-goal lead.
Okay, stop. You didn't really think we'd end off the show like that, did you?
Line. Forsberg in behind the net, comes over to Walker, a shot, and he scores! Walker open on that right side. Predicop, Kyler Yamamoto, stick being held onto, puck loose out front, comes over to Soy, and he comes and scores. Right, Soy comes away with it, Soy comes in and scores. Soy going to the backhand, Last Peterson drifted right out of the crease and left a wide open net. It's now 4-1 in favor of Victoria. 5-1 in favor of Victoria. As the Victoria Royals move on to the second round with a 6-2 victory here tonight over the Spokane Chiefs.